Hey guys, it's me, EODGamerz here. In 0.21, there's going to be tons of changes that are going to affect the market in Path of Exile 2. In this video, I'm going to be talking about all of them in chronological order based on how GGG has framed the way they have listed it as well. If you guys are more into meta and what is the best farming patterns, best class to play, another content creator might be best for that. For this channel here, we mainly focus on what makes money, economy focused content for you guys as well. Let's start off first with the first thing that they're going to do, and that is unique items in Path of Exile 2. Right now they're saying the chase items, some of them are not too great and it's very rare to find. So one thing that they're going to do is making the chase uniques more common, but also adding more chase items to find. As of right now, as of time of recording, the posts and GGG hasn't mentioned what exactly those changes are. The changes are expected to come in by end of next week or the week after they mention. So stay tuned to the updated chase uniques, what are the changes, maybe they buff ingenuity and stuff like that. But that is the first thing that is what they are saying over here, which means that you might see a lot of changes. Maybe your Tangled Tongue might also get a bit nerfed as well if they are amending some unique items. Some things to consider as well. So don't be too heavily invested in any uniques going into the changes. That is the biggest thing that I want you to know. Now, next thing over here, we have craftable sockets. Long story short, the one that is interesting is in the upcoming patch, we will be getting a ton of new runes, new soul cores, and new talismans. This is a lot of them. 22 new runes, 14 new soul cores, and 7 new talismans. This is on top of what we already have, so it's a ton. I think it's almost doubling the amount of soul cores and possibly even doubling the amount of runes as well as talismans, which is crazy amount. Some of them they mentioned are going to be very, very powerful, but perhaps rare to find. We have already seen a little bit of a glimpse of maybe those special alacrity runes and your soul cores like Ascapas, Tikabas, and your rabbit talismans. So maybe they're going to add more OP ones for whatever it may be, like specters and scepters and stuff like that. We might see a lot more from them as well. So craftable sockets are something that is going to be increasing. This means that you likely want to pick up the ritual, the stash tab, the socketable stash tab if you haven't already, and it's on sale, because that means you're going to have double the amount of inventory being taken up by runes now. Oh my goodness. That's something worth considering as well. Rituals here is the next thing that's going to be changed. One thing for sure, if any of you who are grinding rituals in this current league, you will notice that your Audience with a King is extremely cheap. I believe it was going for like a couple of chaos. The last time I was checking, it's like so dirt cheap nowadays. The rare omens, your withlings and your other purple omens are still incredibly difficult to find. So what they are saying now is you still see the same number of omens, but now they're going to shift the probability of the rarer and exciting ones appearing a bit more. So generally, your lousier omens got nerfed and your rarer omens got buffed. How much it may be is subjective. More common could be just a fraction of a percent change. We will have to see and find out. Either way, I won't be holding too much omens going into the patch because you will be exposed into a lot of risk. So what I'm going to be doing for the bank management as well, I'm going to be liquidating all of my omens that are expensive, just holding divines, holding mirror. I expect to see mirror prices moving up as well in the near term, at least as a hedge going into this patch, which has a lot of uncertainty because you have a lot of changes going on so far as well. So a bit of market implications so far, but let's keep going. Corrupted essences. For those of you who have grinded corrupted essences, you have been corrupting every single essence node in Path of Exile 2. One thing for sure is that since the start of the second league here in Path of Exile 2, have never seen organically a corrupted essence appear in Path of Exile 2. I don't know. Have any of you actually gotten a legit corrupted essence? All my corrupted essence is really just bought. So I think that this is a massive change. 6 times, technically 6 times of 0 is still 0 for me. But maybe for those of you who got 1, you might have found 6 in the end. So this is nice. They're going to buff that. Right now, some of them, Essence of Delirium, I believe, goes for multiple divines. So that's really, really expensive. Maybe that can bring the prices down. If you are holding a massive stash of these expensive corrupted essences, it might be a good time to sell them near-term, short-term pressure, especially with the patch coming up. We see every time they buff the drop rates, the market definitely adjusts and changes to that. So check your inventory, make sure you're not holding any of those expensive corrupted essences as well. I think that's something important to note. Rogue Exiles. At first, this was a pretty nice gimmick in like the first 2 weeks, but after a while we realized that they're kind of like a waste of time. They hardly drop uniques at all if they ever do. I've only seen like 2 uniques drops from the Rogue Exiles, and in the end they convert to chance shards. So what they're going to doing is they are increasing the unique item drop rate by approximately 3 times, which is significant. And at the same time, this combos with what we saw initially where they are trying to introduce more unique items. Whether the Rogue Exiles have these chase uniques has yet to be seen, but more uniques means that likely we'll be able to get more chance shards at the very least. Of course, the 2 other game modes, right now probably the game mode that everyone's running is like Simulacrums in your maps as well. That's the primary endgame content that people are fighting in. Twisted Domain, which is your breach, as well as Expedition Logbooks are underwhelming, and they're buffing that as well. So first things first, which Twisted Domain, if it gets buff, means that Breachstone prices might go up, together with the buff of breaches in your maps now dropping at the end of the instance, makes it a lot more convenient. You might see a bit of recovery in prices of Breachstones now that more people are willing to do breaches as well. So what is the main change? 1, you are guaranteed some breach rings in the resulting drop. I have encountered times where I run through the entire map and didn't get a single breach ring this patch. Is extremely demoralizing as well. So what they're doing is twofold. 1 is they're going to guarantee some rare breach rings. 2 is they are also going to guarantee and increase the number of rare monsters, which combo together to make sure that generally we'll be getting a lot more breach rings as well. Change the quantity and rarity of monsters in the domain. So overall buffing the loots. They do admit that Zash, the boss over there, is still one of the best bosses in the game, so we're not going to see too much of a buff to him in terms of the drop rates and whatever not, which I agree because he still drops pretty decent items as well. It's just that the entire process of getting to him, that 1 minute plus, is a bit of a waste of time if you ask me, but hopefully this might change things as well. Next up, which is the Expedition Logbooks. At the very beginning of the league, this was really meta for getting a lot of items, white items real quick, your level 82 items. But thereafter, it started to fall off real short because, as they mentioned, you barely get enough EXP, you barely get much loot in this event as well. And it's very lackluster towards the end. And we see that also in logbook prices. Other than for the fact that they give you the artifacts, expedition artifacts, not really worth too much. This entire wall of text, you can read it if you want. To me, the things that are important is 1, there are going to be 10 times as many strong boxes in the logbook event maps. What this means is there could be more unique strong boxes too, which means you can gamble your goal away in the thing that rolls, but at the same time, which means that you want to bring more Regal orbs, Corruption Val orbs into the maps so that you can modify these strong boxes to hopefully get even more loot. I think this is really nice. They also mentioned that now, because of the combo of runes, the new runes that are going to be dropping, logbooks are probably the way to actually find a lot of these new runes as well, especially if they are chase runes, as they mentioned, meta chase runes. I will be probably picking up a few logbooks level 80 ideally, if I can get my hands on them, so that I can get my hands on these new chase rune drops, because they likely will be scarce. If you think about it, if it's just introduced, very low in supply, they're generally high in demand because they are probably chase, people are upgrading towards them. So make sure you pick up some logbooks early on. It will help you make some money quickly, and I think that's going to be an interesting strategy before the leaks, this patch begins as well. So those are all like the meta changes and stuff like that. In terms of gameplay mechanics, they are just making more diverse amount of maps, which is nice, and some other quality of life improvements. They are making Trials of Sekima to not punish no energy shields or energy shield focus builds, chaos inoculation builds. They're trying to reduce the penalty on those as well. Some other changes here and there, but to me as a crafter, the most important one is this chunk of text over here. What this is instead of now having tier 13 being the best, tier 7, tier 9 being the best, is so awkward. They're now reverting to the path of Exile, one way of expressing things, which is tier 1 being the best and tier bigger number being less optimal, which is fantastic. So if you see a tier 1, you know it's the top tier right now. It's so much more easier. Thank you for finally doing this. I don't understand why they had to do it in the reverse way either. And that pretty much is it in terms of market implications. I hope that you found this informative, helpful as well. If you like market focused content, do subscribe to the channel. That's what we are meant for. If you are here for that, do check out these 2 other videos which you might be interested in as well if you like the economy focused game of Power of Exile 2, and see you guys in the next video.